good news for all.
Welcome for another episode of Environmental Dialogue here at UCTV. I'm your host, Dickens Ochero. Today we are diving into a critical matter that really has been affecting our cities, our urban areas, and we have seen concerns from various sectors, from the government side, from the private sector, from CSO, that's civil society organizations, and NGOs around raising this concern. And this issue which has been cropping up is the issue of urbanization. You know, the government is holding various projects in the urban areas, especially in the city center here. We have seen very many projects of the road constructions which are taking place, especially when you see the Luzira Old Port Bell Road. You see there is a bigger project they are going to enter all around the city, which is so alarming. And we are seeing that out of this, the outcome of all this project is bringing a lot of questions, especially to the environmental activists, the climate activists, because we are seeing that even certain aspect whereby wetlands are degraded, we are seeing swamp, other people like industrializations, that other investors are not minding about the environment. So today is the big topic of discussion that we are going to digest is how has this urbanization affected our climate as a country? Because you know that as a country we need to place a balance of things. If there is, yes, we cannot do away with urbanization, we cannot do away with development, but how can we balance it together? That's why today I have my guest, who is a researcher, is a person who is of technology, using is her IT, doing a lot of things. She's a project manager. She has done a lot of things in our areas, in our community, and also not only that, she is a teacher, a lecturer that has really tried to impact knowledge in other people's really, you know, well-being. As you know that she is also the ambassador of the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals in Uganda here. And today, you know, it's a pleasure to have her. And let me take this time to welcome her. You're most welcome. Please speak to the viewers and, you know, talk more about what you do and about yourself, because the viewers want really to listen to you. They want to understand. They want to get to know more and more about you, what you do, before we dive into our topical discussion for today.
Thank you so much, Ochero Dickens. My name is Amina Mayole, and I'm a programs manager at Big Solutions Group Limited. I double as the digital transformation lead at Geological Society of Uganda. I'm very passionate about environmental conservation. I'm a climate activist at that point. I was so excited when I was invited to talk to the people about the effect, the impact of urbanization on the environment, and I'm so glad to be here.
All right, you're most welcome. My dear viewers, just please don't touch your dial, because this is the moment that you need to listen more and more. You know, when a woman in development is trying to bring something on the table that the world should understand. So that's why you need to pay attention. If you can even maybe get your pen and paper and start recording certain statements down, you know, because whenever you put something down, you know, it will never die. That idea or that knowledge that you have got from her will always remain there, and will, you know, when you're trying to do other things, maybe you can reflect to a point and it can help you. Maybe you want to partner with her, you want to connect with her, you know, to have a working relationship. You know, in this world, you can never work alone, and no man is an island. All right, then, let's go into our topical discussion today. Is the impact of urbanization on our climate. You know, as a country, we are one of the people that last week, I think we just hosted the African Regional Sustainable Goals Conference. Yeah, and it was a big thing. And it talked a lot, the president even assured us of a lot of things. I mean, so we see that even with this follow-up that, you know, that our urban setting, if you're to read it according to the history of Uganda, that they set up all the system that have been set up around the city. It was planned for 50 years. But after 50 years, we see that this plan, due to the population rise, very many industry, Uganda tapping into that investment partnership with other countries which are out, and we are attracting very many investors in the country, and we have seen that there are very many various big multi-million projects which are cropping up around the country. So with all these projects that we know that we are having in place, don't you see that is a threat really to our environment? You as an environmentalist,
Yes.
a climate activist?
Yes, there is a threat, a big threat to the environment. The more we get increase, even in just population, before we go into the projects increasing, just an increment in the population is already threatening the environment in one way or another. We are increasing the demand on, first of all, the natural resources in one particular area. You realize that the number of people who are maybe benefiting on this papyrus swamp to make these mats for the local people have now increased. We are increasing energy consumption already before we go into even the project. So that's already a threat. We are putting pressure on the environment already. And now when you talk about the multi-billion projects that I'm seeing, we have these road constructions, we have the oil and gas development, we have mining activities, so many of them.
Sports facilities.
Yes, we have, actually we have people who are mining sand around to make these things that you use to decorate your compounds. The, what do you call them?
So, this is
pavers.
Pavers.
They're mining sand, they're mining clay, they're mining everything. This is already a pressure on the environment.
Yeah.
And so we have a big threat on the environment.
So now, with all these activities that we are having in place, and you know we cannot do away with this development because there are also employment opportunity for the young people. They are also support certain certain systems that would put in place. Since we are looking at the national adaptation plan that the government also have in place and want to incorporate all this in works, but the concern is what can we do as a country, as also as the young people or the climate activists or environment, to at least we know that we have put things in a smart way or in a way that at least will not affect our environment.
Okay. Of course, we can't do away with the development, we need it.
Yes.
I'll start with the young people because apparently we, the young people, make up the biggest population of Uganda.
Yeah.
So as the young people, what should we do? First of all, let's adapt this eco-friendly use of materials that are eco-friendly. I've been recently to the Magipreneur conference, and I'm seeing people making, for example, sanitary pads out of banana fibers. Banana fibers can rot after all, and then we are enriching our soil once again.
And
So
do the growers of bananas even know that innovation is in place? Or for them, they know that they need to plant their bananas mainly for food consumption or maybe for sales.
That takes me to the next point.
Okay.
We need to raise awareness.
Okay.
Raise awareness and make people know that these things are possible. Entice them to attend some of these workshops and conferences so that they can learn that you cannot just eat bananas and throw away, but you can use actually the banana fibers to make like sanitary pads. It is one of the biggest polluting material, by the way, because it does not rot. It doesn't rot, so if you dump it in a garden or anywhere, it will remain there.
It's
if you decide to burn it,
Is it
the normal sanitary pads that we have do not rot. So if you dump them in the garden, they'll be there for years. If you decide to burn them, you're going to increase the carbon dioxide emission into the atmosphere. But how about we start using those from banana fibers? We will dump them, they will rot, our soils will get fertile, and yes, we are increasing at least the richness of our soil. So we need to create awareness, sensitize people, like using the environmental dialogue, for example. Talk about these things. Use eco-friendly practices. Like I've just brought out one product, the sanitary pads, but there are others.
Yeah.
There's so many others. Do away with the Kavera bags. Let's use maybe some reusable material.
I've seen also people like making these those like women's bags or the market bags using the banana fibers.
Yes, we can adopt that. We can use bags from banana fibers maybe. And during COVID, there is something that I noticed. I'll take you back to the COVID period. We were in total lockdown and people were cycling. I noticed during that time I had an opportunity to come to the city center because I had brought my sister to give birth. So I noticed the city was clean. People were just cycling and walking. That is clean means of transportation. How about we advocate for separate lanes for cycling and reduce the number of cars maybe coming into the city, and maybe also reduce private means of transport. Advocate, I heard of the buses, I don't know where it ended, but we could think of if 10 people drive cars to Kampala, how about those people sit in one coaster? We are reducing the carbon emission, right?
Yeah.
Cycling, walking maybe. People staying like in Chibuye, why do they have to board? They should walk. I mean, it's for saving the environment.
Yeah, that's true. I remember when I was staying here in Zambia, when by that time transport was 200 shillings. And because of jam, just moving from Zambia to town, you take more than even 1 hour. When I see that I stay in Zambia and there is a railway, I take only 10 minutes, I'm in town. I say, why am I spending my car 200 on a taxi where I'm going to waste time? So we just switch to make shortcut. Town, you do your things. You find that the person who used the taxi, reach late, is spending a lot of time. He has spent his money. But from who I've gone, I'm already at home. I've done like 3 or 4 things more than that. So which really, that point of yours is really very valid.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's also a video that has been going around on social media of that guy somewhere who brought a tukutuku and was dumping the rubbish into the drainage system.
Yeah.
All this is washed down to our water sources, promoting what we call water pollution. So we need, all these people need to be sensitized on how to dispose of waste, for example. You do not have to wait for the rain, then you take all your rubbish into the channels. Yes, you may block the channels, bring about flooding, but then that polluted water is going to run down to Lake Victoria. All these channels connect back to the basins we have.
Yeah.
They connect back to Lake Victoria, to River Nile, to wherever. When you go through, being a GIS personnel, I see them, the connection back to the Lake Victoria and to Lake Choga, wherever. So our water is polluted. That SGD goal about life in water. I've seen complaints about reduction in fish. We are bringing this. We are polluting the water unknowingly.
Yeah.
The fish that used to thrive, I mean, the conditions have changed. So we have a reduction. Even the quality of the fish changes.
I saw even a statement whereby, was it like released by Ministry of Water, where they said that the number of fish were reducing due to the plastic disposal into the lake, whereby certain times even you find like other birds, when they die and they rot you, they get plastic inside. You have seen even the report about the crested crane, and that's why I've seen that there is also another project that the Ministry of Water just launched this year in March. Was it March? 2nd March. It was in Rubirizi, which was launched by Youth Government about save the Ugandan's crested crane, due to all what you're speaking about. Yeah.
So the more we pollute, it ends in the water system. Even our paved, we have asphalt, we have concrete. Asphalt is the one we use to pave the roads.
Okay.
Then we have concrete buildings. You notice there is heat in the town areas, but as you drive out, it's all fresh. This is brought about by the urbanization, the increment of the buildings. Of course, we want
the
pressure to the environment. So we have higher temperatures here, which we call UHI.
Okay.
Yeah, it's high. So you find some people get challenges, of course. Others resort to ACs, which are not entirely good for our health. We know that. But because of what we have. But we can think of ways. We can live with our buildings, we can live with our projects in an eco-friendly way. We can do green roofing, for example. We can do, sometime I was in a conference in Doha, and I noticed how these people in Doha, they have sand, by the way.
Yeah.
They don't have this rich soil that we have. Their city is green. Imagine, for us we have this nice soil that can bring up any kind of plant. But those people in Qatar, their city is green. It's green. They keep watering all the time. They have a lot of fountains in the city. They plant flowers and water them throughout. We need to increase. I like what the government has done, by the way, on the Queensway area. They've tried to plant those flowers and grass. And the other time I was jubilating, seeing these, I hear 100 people who were just taken to answer for standing on the grass.
Yeah, that's something that we have been always really tabling before KCCA, that if the government spent a lot of money on conservation, protecting, planting those flowers and those grass, and you feel that they cannot even safeguard the grass, which is a very small thing, or else, because that's something that really we had to say that, or else if KCCA cannot protect these grasses around the city centers, maybe put these the owners of these buildings or these malls with these grasses are in front, and say, starting from then, you are the steward of this, from this place up to this. Anything happens to it, we'll ask you as the steward. But we have loved the statement that the new executive director is trying really to address, which is something which is very good for us. And yesterday when I was in town, that someone was even saying,
yes. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I celebrated it actually. And that drives me to that point. We need to advocate for a policy. You see, countries like Rwanda, you cannot just dump anything. Dumping a cavera on the road anywhere, it is a crime. So we need to advocate for a policy. A policy. I know we have very nice rules.
We have very many policies. It's just
we have very many, but
we have very many policies, because when you look at the government acts, the acts that have been passed by Parliament, there are very many acts that really safeguards, protects the lives and property and also the environment. But you find that when you go to the community, people will tell you, we don't know about this. We don't know about what you're talking of, that even it exists.
So I think as the government and all these bodies that work towards the cause of protecting and environmental conservation, Ministry of Water and Environment, NEMA, should actually bring these rules and policies and the law from the sleeping bag to activity. And I think some of them should be revised. The penalties should be made really serious. I mean, you dump one cavera, but you're killing the next environmental generations coming on. You're going to, with time, we will not have certain flowers. We were doing a research on water quality with Kumba University last year. Okay. And somewhere, I will not say the names, but somewhere there are these people who are planting flowers. So when they plant their flowers for export, they use some insecticides to spray.
Yeah.
Because they want their flowers to grow up. So in the community, we were asking them, okay, how has this particular factory helped you people? They say, okay, our young people have got jobs. But then one woman said, but we also no longer see the bees, the butterflies. You see, that is biodiversity loss because of what we are doing and what we are using. The more they are spread, they disappear. And they are very important for our, when going back to primary, we plant pollination, and bees give us honey also. We are deleting that.
The transfer of pollen grains.
Yes, we are having low quality yields because we don't have that agent that helps us to transfer the pollen grains from one plant to another. So the woman was like, we no longer see bees, we don't have butterflies, we don't have the ants, that have all been spread. So it takes us back to sensitization, advocacy for policy. And one important thing that the youth have to do is innovation.
Yeah.
Yes. I've heard of the Safe Water Accelerator. It's a program, an initiative. Among others, we have from Youth Go Green, we have that is from Maji, where I've just been, but it is pioneered by Coca-Cola and other companies. And they are funding people to come up with innovations on conserving water, on promoting sanitation and hygiene. I mean, we have to come up with these innovations, come up with an innovation to protect our environment.
When you talk about innovation, because I do remember very well that, you know, that there are very many people in the community there, down there in the grassroots areas. They're doing a lot of innovation, but they don't know that also they are contributing to environmental conservation. But because of due to ignorance, they do it at a small scale without even bringing other aspects on it to contribute, like to the community, to the community development, and also protecting other dangerous aspects of like environmental degradations, that things that but for them they do, like for instance, if you go to places like in PG, like in Pambire, you see what those guys are doing. You see that they contribute to the environment. First of all, their practice is sustainable. Secondly, their practice also hard on the economy. It contributes to the GDP of the country if it's handled well. Then thirdly, you find that these people, they do what they know that they're doing it for a personal gain, but not for the community, not for the government, but because of due to that ignorance. And now we have people like you with all these innovation ideas that can really merge and integrate with what they already have. Don't you see that with that approach that the government is trying to involve the young people, especially things to do with the innovation? We have seen the president now also supporting now sciences, the ministry coming up with STEM, all this, which is an aspect of what? Innovation. But now the problem, will the young people embrace all this initiative?
We need to motivate them.
How?
Motivate them. Now that we have stations like UCT that have brought, I think this is the pioneer dialogue, right, on environment.
Yes, this is the first dialogue of its own in our country.
Yeah, we need to motivate them. Let us put their work out there to be seen.
Okay.
We need to put their work. Even the political leaders should get involved in this.
Okay.
You're looking for vote somewhere. Then you see these people who are just planting trees for beautifying. Put this out there.
Okay.
Let the people know what they are doing. Tell them what the advantages of whatever they are doing is actually. And how to maybe, the government had brought about PDM, but I will not put it to PDM.
Yeah.
If you see someone doing something good, tell them they can actually write it a better way. Okay. Have it presented somewhere. They may not have skills of proposal writing.
Yeah.
Tell them they can actually get someone who can write for them a proposal, get funding, and have this widespread. You've talked of Mpambira. I've been there recently.
You've been there.
And there is this place called Kabira. I see a big forest. It looks to be...
That's Panga Forest.
That's Panga Forest.
Yes, that's
still,
Panga
oh,
Forest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we could have such forests everywhere, at least. Yeah, personally, we were working on an innovation with some youth.
Okay.
Yeah, I picked the youth myself because for me, I'm in a position to work on an innovation with young people.
Okay.
Yes, we are working on an innovation to actually monitor how the green appears and disappears.
Okay.
Because we believe that one of the reasons why we have a lot of deforestation is because we never see when the trees go away. We just wake up and the forest is down. But if we had real-time monitoring of such activities, we see an illegal logging, we see a bush burning somewhere, and we act accordingly. We think it will bring some solution forward for preserving our forests, for example, preserving our wetlands and the swamps.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then let me pause that for a second. That then we go and make some money. We go off for a short commercial break. Oh, my dear viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. Then we shall be back here. We are still here to explore more and more and get to understand even other projects that are in shape, which the government is trying really to implement it, and also other people who are raising other questions also within our the sector of environmental conservation, and you've heard of our idea. So I just want you to just please stay calm, don't go anywhere. We shall be back within a short period of time. Thank you.
UCTV, good news for all.
Radio Patches, the best value-based community radio in Eastern Africa, running 24/7 with professional staff and solar energy backup of up to 500 kilowatts peak. We rock the whole of northern Uganda and the world using 7 languages on 90.9 FM and 94.5 FM in Arua on Ediofe Hill, 99.7 FM at Moyo on Adua Hill, 101.4 FM at For God in Gulu, and online at www.radiopatches.org or download the Radio Patches app from Google Play Store and Apple Store. Radio Patches, peace of Christ for all.
UCTV, good news for all.
Yeah, we are still here at UCTV every Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. And whenever you miss also this this show live on UCTV, you can still go to our YouTube page. That's UCTV environmental page. Then you can follow the discussion. You share the idea. Don't just listen it to yourself, but you know we are already in the digital world where people have TikTok pages, they have WhatsApp groups. You have very many. You can share this knowledge and also comment, like our pages, you know, and share this knowledge. All right, then we are still continuing with the discussions that we stopped underway, and we are looking at how really can the government, private sector, CSOs, NGOs interest the young people, especially those ones who are into innovation. Because when you talk of innovation, someone is only dreaming of how can I make a car like a Mercedes-Benz 250. Someone is looking at how can I make maybe a nice Bajaj. They look at those, but they don't look at the things which are environmental friendly. And that's why last week when we went to URA, was saying that can URA come up with a proper way of maybe something which is motivating to interest the young people, that when you come up maybe with your prototype, which you know that is environmental friendly and it will contribute to the environment conservation, maybe they give you maybe a tax holiday or a tax waiver from you or anything, or they support you. They come up with at least a grant to support those young people. And also we are really pleased by URA telling us that they are giving like tax exemption especially for people who are doing who are into e-mobility, which was a very good thing. Giving you a tax exemption for 10 years is a good thing. Then another thing also we looked at now that the government has come up with STEM, that we are still talking about. It has come up with different innovation projects, but you still, the young people last time that are complaining that, you know, even though we come up with that prototype, or what, that prototype will die with them without extending it or contributing it to the community. Then now we say, where is the problem with all this? Because we are looking at a clean city, a smart city, a greener city. So, Amina, how are we going to get with all this, that our environment is protected, our city is also safe, even though we have other development cropping up?
Still discussing about how do we get these people motivated.
Yes.
I like what the Ministry of Water and Environment does. Ministry of Water and Environment actually has the Water Resources Institute. You've heard of it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, there people are mentored. This is a free course, by the way. I think we are using the internet for wrong purposes as the young generation.
Yeah, in TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok
I have very many, personally I'm not on TikTok because I find it time consuming, but the youth are using the internet for wrong purposes. But there are very many opportunities for us. The Water Resources Institute, as an example, has mentorship program. You don't have to know anyone to get there. You just have to apply via their website and you're picked. You're mentored into something. The moment you come up with an innovation, you even give an incubation. At least I've been one of the people who have been in an incubation period for my innovation. And they also have other programs like what the Youth Go Green partnered sometime, teaching the people integrated water resources management. That is a big thing because integrated water resources management encompasses everything from the greening to the formation of water, how we know the hydrological cycle, to the usage, and also to the development of the people.
Yeah.
So, and they have such trainings going on, but we never attend because we are not seeing these things on our platforms.
And someone can say,
so we have to.
Youth Go Green carries all this. How can I tap into this? I just hear that Youth Go Green is doing A, B, C, D, is everywhere. Now, how can because even I think that someone who is watching us there is asking, Amina, you're talking of all this, but we don't know what's happening. We just hear as a news.
That's why I'm saying we are using internet for the wrong reasons. Check what are you following on your LinkedIn, for example. Whom do you follow on your LinkedIn pages? Which websites do you view on a daily? Which newspapers are you reading? Because that is where the information is. We have a culture that is very weak, a reading culture.
Yeah.
But at least internet is a bit interesting. I'm a big fan of the environmental dialogue. I will tell you now.
Wow,
but
thank you.
At my home, I don't have that channel on my TV. But one time, through one of the platforms you talked of, WhatsApp groups, I saw someone putting a video about environmental dialogue. And I'm like, wow, there is something like this in Uganda. I need to follow. And I followed. I subscribed to the YouTube channel straight away. So I watch every dialogue. So on your YouTube, whom are you following? You find people following Sengagundi, what, those things. But there are things that are really interesting and educative. And you're going to come up with an innovation, protect your environment, and get rich along the way. There is big climate funding opportunity across the world. We have climate financing, a lot of them. I pointed out a few of them in Uganda.
Yes.
The Safe Water Accelerate and what. But we also have those global ones. World Bank, they're feeding money into this. This is innovating the people to come up with solutions to protect our environment.
And I think
we have NGOs. We've
like
not talked about
I think
NGOs.
that, UNDP supports very many young people into innovations. Because I've seen like even they had even to sponsor that construction of the innovation. Is it hub in Makerere?
Hub, yes, yeah, the innovation
it's called
hub.
It's
called
innovation hub or iPod, I don't know really.
Yeah, in there they even have a GIS. We have things like GIS. It is a very resourceful system.
Okay.
You can use it to plan, monitor, and even evaluate whatever goes on in our environment.
Okay.
Being a mapping system. Yeah, but then we speak of NGOs as well. NGOs, I think, are doing some work. But the people out there are not interested in knowing what is going on. I think for that particular bit, as we go out to work as NGOs, let us pick people from the community. You go to Karamoja, pick people from the community. And they may not know English, some may know. Get those who are educated to some level and those that are not. The moment the other people see you working with them towards something, even if they're just planting trees, the community will get interested in what you do. We do it when we go to do surveys for groundwater. When we go, we don't use only the technical team. When you reach that place, you bring on people. You work with them. That way people love what you do and they get involved. Similarly, as we go to do like we did the SGD run, and we have those seedling beds coming up.
Okay.
Let us entice the local community. When we go to put it in a Jumani, don't go as Kampala people, you're going there to plant your trees. No, talk to the LCs, get the local people. The moment these people see the local people, then they'll ask, what are you guys doing? How is it helpful to us? That's why I think we will innovate them to do these things. If we get them involved, we work with them. I think that is the best way we can involve the local people down there.
Okay.
Who don't care about what the government is doing, what NGOs are doing, what environmental groups are bringing forward. We should get them involved.
And when the problems stop up, they say, government to Yame, government, where are you?
But when we work with them, the project is theirs. The environment is theirs.
But there's also another concern that when you like to reach down to the community, whereby we have been raising that that sometimes other NGOs come or the government come with their projects, then after establishing the projects, they leave it there, but they have not involved them from the first stage until they so that they show them that the project is theirs. So there's still that gap of project ownership. And you've spoken of Karamoja. We have seen very many multi-billion-dollar projects in Karamoja. We have seen that the government had tried to invest a lot, especially things to do with dams set up in Karamoja. But you see that at the start, the project runs very well until the day of the accomplishment. But the moment the project they start,
there is no sustainability.
No sustainability. And I think most of the dams there that were started by the government, I don't think if they are still in existence or they have already become like the past.
We should consider project sustainability from the start. How will this project be sustained after we've gone? Work with the people from the start. From the beginning point, because I know there are people there. They could be senior 4 dropouts.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do they say senior 4 dropouts?
Yeah, senior 4.
Or leavers. They are leavers. Maybe
also
leavers.
dropouts.
They are down there in the villages. Then for you come and construct your dams, people don't know what you're doing, then you go. They might even abstain from using the dams.
Yeah.
But then if you work with them, if it is building, I think it involves some construction, bring bricks and what. Get the local people. They are youth in the village.
To work as porters.
Yeah, to work. Just have a project engineer there, maybe also, I don't know, the technical team. But bring these people. Let them mix the concrete. Let them do the construction. They will use that. They will make sure it is safe. I was in Tungamo the other day and the government is the one that drilled a borehole in some primary school somewhere called Itoju.
Okay.
Itoju. So after a month of the drilling and the development of the borehole, people came and removed the head pump. So it's there. No one can use it because there's no head pump. And they took all the roads Why? Because the project is not theirs. They don't own the project.
That's
But
true.
if you involve them, let them come and do the casting. Casting is just mixing sand and stones and cement, and someone does that construction of that nice thing you see on a board. Let the local community do that. Let them be involved. They will love the project.
Yeah.
They will even plant trees. You know, one way of conserving the groundwater is planting vegetation around, promoting irrigation, also avoiding over pumping. You can have rainfall harvest along the way, as in people can harvest water in their tanks.
But in the
during
city,
the
yeah,
rainy
the
season.
urban center, is
But
it possible?
in the urban center,
Oh, the landlord will say that, you're trying to
So-
grab my property.
In the urban center, actually, we don't do groundwater. I just brought it up.
Okay.
So in the urban center, these things that we are doing, like I see KCCA puts up some workshops, Ministry of Water and Environment. I saw a cleanup the other time around Luzira area.
Yeah.
There's a cleanup. Who is doing the cleanup? Get people from the local school around, primary school, people from the market. Get them involved, motivate them. Teach them, but they should also be working. That way, I think we will be promoting this. Once someone says, when I clean my area where I do put my fish, it is actually a good thing. I'm preventing diseases, pollution and all that. But if we work as us, we just put on our reflectors. We don't involve them. There's no sustainability. They will just abstain from the project. They say, it's up to the government.
Okay. All right, then you have raised that. So now another thing is that now, how can really, with all these challenges that the government is facing, and also from the people's perspective, what do you think that really the government can do, at least to see that there is a balance between urbanization or the development in the urban area and also with the environmental conservation?
A balance.
Yes, that there is a balance, that any develop or any project that is being implemented in the place, in the urban centers, especially the city like Kampala right now, that we have been advocating for the green spaces, or we have been, that advocating for wetlands, all those attachment zones and areas within the cities. So now, how can the government really place a balance that we know that the people or the local community, they are able to adapt with also the climate change and development?
Yeah. First of all, I think for the government, in management, we call them politicized projects. We should do away with politicized projects. If the project is about conserving the environment, let NEMA handle, let Ministry of Water handle, but not the political parties. The moment you involve, you say maybe, nope, we are doing this, we are doing that. For us who don't support, we don't get involved. So we should avoid politicized projects.
The things of colors.
A project is about conserving the environment. Doesn't concern NRM, doesn't concern DP, doesn't concern NUP, doesn't concern one. But we have agencies that were put forward by the government to handle that.
Yeah.
Let them spearhead so that we remove politics from the environmental conservation bit. That way people will buy in.
Okay.
If they see that, it is by Ministry of Water, it is by NEMA, it's by this environmental group, it's by Youth Go Green, by this, they'll get involved. You see how youth get involved in Youth Go Green projects? It's because it's about the youth getting involved in protecting and conserving the environment. Each year you see them applying to go to the COP. You see them coming for the conferences. You see them taking part in the runs. It's because it doesn't have any political affiliation. So the moment we have such projects, I think people will buy in. And then also the people should be taught. I think this should go back from primary school. Right from primary school, like how we have adopted the STEM and what is involved, all that involved in our new curriculum. We should be taught the dangers of destroying the environment from the word go. to the extreme level of climate change, so that a child is brought up when they know that it is really bad.
All right then. So what's your parting shots? Give us your parting shots to the viewers.
Thank you so much. My parting shots. Environment is for us all. It is our moral responsibility to protect it, to conserve it. Don't look at your neighbor. Get involved. Get involved. Don't wait for someone to do it. Do it. Do it. If it is about planting that tree, you're going to an introduction, take those trees. They plant them. The Kabaka brought that system, I think. When you go to get a wife, you take a tree and then they plant. Some people don't take them. Let's go back. Let's go back to that system. As you go to be introduced, take those trees and they should be planted. Yeah, and then someone should always be there to watch that these things are going on. It's about all of us. Let's get involved.
Wow. So, in my introduction, next time when I'm going to get married, I'll let my in-law, I'm praying for you to receive praying for flowers. The moment my wife gives a birth, we need the birthday. We plant a tree.
Yeah, yes.
The day of the wedding, we plant trees in the church. So I think with that good moral practice, that can lead to environmental conservation. I think we need to embrace that, and even the church needs to embrace this. That anyone who comes to wed, please plant a tree. If you're going to baptize your child, plant a tree as a memory, and they put even the name of that person in that tree, so that it means when you grow up, you come and see that this tree was planted on your behalf. All right, then. Thank you, Amina, for coming by, for passing by, for always loving environmental dialogue and sharing with different people. We are still here at UCTV. I told you that this month, all this year, we have very many conferences and also workshops. Like for instance, we have been talking about urbanization. If you want to learn more about urbanization in regards to climate change, please, we have a conference this month at Kampala Serena Hotel. It will be starting from 29th to 30th. So you can register. Just go to check on the Youth Go Green page, check on different pages. You see, there are links. You know, there are links that you can register as one of the delegates. You come and learn things that we are discussing here. So that time will be really broad for you to understand certain things. Also, we are having the International Day of Clean Air, which is 7th May. Is a day that we are celebrating the day of clean air, and we have policies, and also we are launching certain acts which have been passed by the government. We have also International Day of Biodiversity, which is 22nd of May. Then the last one, which is the biggest, that will be in Kabale, is the World Environmental Day that will be in Kabale, where you cannot afford. We have pre-activities that will be happening in Western Uganda, in Barara, Ruizi, in Tungamu, Kisoro. Will be really moving with the young people, trying to implement certain things and engaging with different communities. So you can be part of this if you reach out. That's the reason why you need to watch always environmental dialogue, so that you can tap into opportunities and you know what's happening. So I urge you, my dear viewers, please share this video into the different pages, different groups, and also go to our YouTube channel, love it, subscribe with UCTV. If you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Sure. And we will always be there in case of any questions or any submission. So I want to thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would also like to thank my producers, the ones on set, and also the management of UCTV, and those who have made this topic or this platform to be there for the young people and also for our part of Africa. Thank you very much. God bless you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
UCTV. Good news for all.